Don't watch this video until you've watched the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again, because I'm not going to discuss the big spoiler, but come on, we've waited 10 years for this. Don't do that to yourself. My bestie and I watched the first 2 episodes last night, and I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more than he did because he made a huge mistake. He watched the first 3 seasons of the original series before watching this, and it's not the same. Whereas I watched the first 3 seasons when they came out, got told it was getting cancelled, had a decade to grieve, and when I heard that Disney was bringing it back, I was willing to accept anything, up to and including Mickey Mouse himself making a genuine cameo. Now yes, the CGI Daredevil swinging around on his baton like Spider-Man, that was a little jarring, but as long as we get the more gritty stuff, like what we got at the end of the 2nd episode, mwah! Oh yeah, I can accept it. But I want to talk about what might be the main character theme of the show, pride, which is awesome for Matt because as a Catholic, pride being one of the 7 deadly sins. Because there is a significant amount of ego in what he does as Daredevil. You see that in the end of season 3. Even taking off his mask to make it clear that I beat you! And that pride really comes out in the diner scene because Matt genuinely believes that Wilson Fisk might genuinely be trying to do some good as mayor.
If I didn't know better, know him better, I'd say he sounds sincere. Like maybe he wants to actually do something for the city.
But he must know, especially given their history, that threatening Wilson Fisk will only ever bring out the worst in him. We saw that in episode 2, where the commissioner says,
I see right through you, Fisk. You're not a mayor who loves his city. You're a whiny kid who wants everyone to love him. A monster trying to rewrite his legacy.
And so Fisk responds by threatening the guy's family.
Castro's kind enough to drive down there
and yet Matt still feels the need to position himself as Fisk's prison guard.
So if you step out of line, I will be there.
Which brings out that side of Fisk.
And should you go back to any of your old activities, there will be consequences.
And Fisk, arguably more than Matt, sees that that's what's happening, because he references the ego trip that Matt must have felt when, spoiler alert, he tries to kill Bullseye on the roof.
You liked being on that rooftop with Dex. You liked how it felt, didn't you? Giving no quarter, dispensing justice.
He recognizes that Matt likes the idea of being judge, jury, and executioner, and that that's what drove him to set up this meeting in the first place and threaten Fisk. Even though logically, Matt must know that that's only likely to make the Kingpin side of Fisk wake up. And personally, I kind of identify with that, because childhood trauma? Check. That leading to me feeling the need to make sure that nobody ever physically intimidates me ever again, ultimately leading to me being a wise ass during confrontations, which ultimately ends up escalating the situation. Yeah, I've been there in the past. And on the political side, there's a point to be made about what is your actual goal here? Is what you're doing to combat people like Trump or Fisk, is that actually about making a difference, or is it more about expressing some inner need or whatever? Because the reason why virtue signaling is such a loaded term is because if the other side believes that we don't actually care about the people being affected by these policies, then they're going to think that we're just as bad as they are. What I'm saying is, across Western politics, we need to be focused on what will actually protect the people that are being hurt by the bad people in charge, rather than just what feels good at the time. And yes, obviously in this show there was a lot that links to Trump.
The rule of law will prevail.
Which is just like Trump saying,
must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns.
While literally being a convicted felon. It's also interesting how Matt says,
if this city actually elects him, then maybe New York's getting the mayor it deserves.
Because as a Brit looking across at Americans, even though I know that only a quarter of you showed up to vote for Donald Trump, given how well he did in the popular vote, it does make me look at you a little differently. And I know in the UK we had Brexit, but at least in the elections that followed that, the popular vote went the other way. But anyway, given how episode 2 ended, and even though I don't like the CGI in the suit, I am down for this show.